Well, now more than 25 years of experience. And I can tell you she's great because she's my coach. Life and leadership coach Gillian McShane is joining us to talk about how we can make our relationships healthier and happier. Welcome to 700 Club Canada, Gillian.
Oh, well, thank you, Lori. I'm delighted to be here with you.
Well, you know, girl, you've whipped me into shape. Can I just say that? You've helped me so much, and I thank you for that. And thank you that you're going to now help our viewers.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'm delighted to have been your coach and to have whipped you into shape because, you're one of the most teachable people I know. So that is the key ingredient.
Oh, well, thank you, Gillian. You know what? I try. I do learn a lot from you. We're talking about relationship health here, and
Yeah.
you're a life and leadership coach. Like, what is the biggest challenge that we have in having a healthy relationship?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you first used the word challenges because there are challenges. But I do think that one of the number one challenges we all have is being able to own our stuff. So when
Wow.
we're in a relationship, if I'm owning my stuff and I'm self aware of how I show up in the relationship with my healthy attitudes, maybe I'm aware of my unhealthy attitudes, and I can own what I bring to the relationship. I'm not putting the onus and burden on you to carry the relationship.
Oh, wow. Okay, so as my coach, what I
Yeah.
hear you saying is it's not actually about fixing the other person.
No, no. So I love Matthew 7:3. It says, hey, stop looking at that speck in the brother or sister's eye and take a look at yourself. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that's really great advice. If I'm aware of how I'm showing up with my attitudes, my behaviors, the way I'm speaking to you, how I own my part of the relationship, then I'm coming to the relationship with a transparent place. I want to say to you, Lori, I hurt your feelings last time. I feel like I overstepped my boundaries, and I want to own that, and I want to say I'm sorry to you. How did that affect you? If I say that to you in relationship, you're going to feel the permission, number one, to call me out on my stuff because I've invited you, number one. But also, you're going to feel that I'm aware of how I affect you in the relationship. And that can be whether you're executive, whether you're a ministry leader, whether you're a husband or wife, or in a relationship with your children. It's key to own your stuff.
Wow. You know what? You're so right. So here's the thing, though. Not everybody understands what their stuff is. How can you own it if you don't know what it is? And maybe we call that blind spots.
Yeah.
So how do you
Yes.
become maybe aware of your blind spots that will then allow you to own your own stuff, right?
Exactly. And that's really a good point. We all have blind spots. We just don't know what we don't know sometimes. So one of the questions that I've been inviting the people I've been coaching lately to ask is, what is it like to be on the other side of me when I'm happy, I'm stressed, I'm under pressure, I'm anxious, I'm hangry, hungry and angry, I'm worried. What's it like to be on the other side of me? And they will let you know. A blind spot is something that's we're so oblivious to, but to everybody else, it's very obvious. It's the reason we can sit in church in a convicting sermon and hope that the preacher is preaching to the person next to us rather than ourselves.
Right.
Um, so I would encourage people, especially people that are in positions of leadership, to ask your team, ask a trusted person on your team, what is it like to be on the other side of me? And when you invite that kind of feedback, that is really helpful for our transformation. We really all want to be more Christ-like, don't we?
Yeah.
And when we ask, we're exposed to our blind spots, and then we can begin to work on them.
Well, as I listen to you say that, I think, man, what a perfect world we'd live in if people would
Oh,
have enough courage to ask that question. But here's the
yes.
truth. Most of us don't want to be that vulnerable. And one thing I appreciate about you, Gillian, and our good friend, Dr. Mary, who all of our viewers know so well,
Yeah.
you have a podcast, which I have to say, shameless plug here, but honestly, the fully lived life is one of my go-tos. I have listened
Mm,
to you and Mary unpack not just information, but demonstrate vulnerability. Why is
yeah.
vulnerability so important?
Well, Lori, I mean, you and I have known each other for a while, and I've got to tell you that, when you're vulnerable with me, it makes me feel very connected to you as a human being. When we began the podcast, we said one thing: we want to help people on their journey towards a transformed life to be more Christ like. Well, if we're just talking heads, you're not going to feel connected to us. But if I share my messes with you and I share my struggles with you, and oftentimes on the podcast, we're in the middle of a struggle and we're kind of working through it. And we're not at the other side yet, but we're willing to wade into the waters and tell you what it's like. And sometimes it's painful. Sometimes we feel stuck, but we really want our listeners to feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
We've been walking this world a little bit, and we've had some experiences. Dr. Mary, obviously, from a clinical standpoint, and myself from a leadership and pastoral standpoint. And if we can help each other along, really, isn't that the gift that we can give each other? And that empathy and connection that we can make when we're vulnerable is so key to walking through this journey of life together.
Well, I think you're right on. And I know in my own life, learning to be vulnerable has enabled me to be have greater empathy towards other
Yes.
people and allows me to actually have real connection, me with
Yeah.
them and them with me. I think that you're hitting on such a good point. We want to learn more from you, Gillian. So just hold it right there. We're going to come right back and we're going to continue our discussion on healthy relationships with our coach and our friend, Gillian McShane. We'll be right back.